didn't listen and continued to clap Zayne's cheeks. Zayne was jailed for 6.5 years. His mother and father were married for 25 years and were still together. He came from a good home with both of his parents working. They both tried to give Zayne the best life, but unfortunately some children just don't listen. Zayne didn't respect his parents and called them broke because they didn't drive supercars or live in a mansion. Zayne wanted more. He was addicted to looking at social media profiles of guys with fast cars, money and lots of girls. Zayne was jealous as he thought that should be him. He wanted that life. He wanted to live a millionaire's lifestyle, not realizing that most of these social media guys pay the women to be in the pictures, videos, and also rent fancy supercars to make less intelligent people think that they are actually rich. Before going to prison, Zayne watched a few self-defense videos, so he thought he would be fully prepared for the prison lifestyle. Before entering the prison, all prisoners must be searched. A female prison guard told him to bend over as she needed to search his booty crack for anything dodgy before he could enter the prison, but Zayne refused and said, "None of you are searching me because that's gay." The female guard advised Zayne everyone has to be searched in that place because inmates can hide things in their cheeks. Zayne said, "I don't care about your silly prison rules because I do what I want," and then he pushed the female prison guard. She went sliding across the floor and hit her head straight into the wall. Zayne was then tackled to the ground by 10 male prison officers. One of the prison officers said, "So you wanna be a tough guy? Since you wanna be a tough guy, we are going to skip the induction process and take you straight into general population. We are going to put you on the most violent wing in the entire prison." Zayne said, "I don't care. Do your worst." Zayne had never had anyone tell him what to do in his life, as his parents just let him get away with anything he wanted. Not even Zayne's dad could tell him anything, so this was a complete shock for Zayne because he wasn't used to taking orders from anyone. One of the officers asked the female guard if she was okay, and she said yes, although she advised him her head was bleeding, so one of the officers took her to the medical center. One of the guards said to Zayne, "Since you wanna be a tough guy, we are going to take you to Purple's cell. He will be your new cellmate." Zayne started laughing and said, "Purple? What kind of stupid name is that?" While he laughed even harder. The officers all looked at each other with mischievous smiles on their faces as they grabbed Zayne and walked with him to Purple's cell. It was a 5-minute walk through the prison, and Zayne was excited because he had never actually been to prison before. He was really into prison movies and TV shows and always wanted to go to prison because it looked so cool. Zayne thought going to prison would make him a real man. He wasn't even worried about being turned out in prison because to Zayne that was the movies and didn't actually happen in real life, so Zayne didn't think much of it. He was 5'7", but because he watched a few how to survive in prison videos on social media, he knew he would be just fine, so he walked to Purple's cell with a big fat smile on his face. In Zayne's world, he was on top of the world and no one could do anything to him. Once they got to Purple's cell, the prison officers opened the door. And immediately Zayne's smile stopped when he saw what was in that cell. Zayne's face was full of fear, as all of his preparations for prison didn't prepare him for this. Zayne couldn't see Purple's face because he had his back turned as Purple was looking out the window. Even when they opened his cell door, Purple didn't care and continued to look out the window staring at the nice greenery. Purple liked to look out of the window as it was a nice way to escape the reality of prison. While Purple's back was still turned, the prison officer said to Zayne, "Aren't you going to go into your new cell?" with a massive grin on his face. Zayne could not hide the fact that he was scared for his life, and the officers could see this. They both could see the instant fear in his face, and they were both enjoying it. Still standing at the cell door with time running out, Zayne had to think of something quick as he did not want to enter that cell. He told the officers, "I want to go into a different cell where you can't see grass through the window." "Yeah, that's it, as I don't like looking at grass." The officers both looked at each other and laughed as one of them said, "You're a tough guy, remember? You can handle a bit of grass." And then the guards both pushed Zayne into the cell and quickly closed the cell door. Zayne quickly ran to the door, banging on the door, shouting at the guards saying, "Come back and let me out of here." The guards laughed as they both walked off. That's when Purple turned around. Purple was a giant and at least 7 feet tall and huge. Zayne had never seen a human being this big before in real life. Purple was a giant and was so tall that Zayne looked at him like he was looking into the sky. Purple walked over to Zayne and started touching his muscles. He gripped Zayne's arm, which felt like a vice grip. He had so much strength the blood circulation in Zayne's arm started to stop, so Zayne said, "Sorry sir, but my arm is hurting, could you please let go of me?" Purple laughed and released Zayne's arm. Zayne feeling happy, Purple released him. He started to walk to the door to see if there were any guards around that he could quickly call over to ask them to move him into another cell, but the entire wing was empty. No one was walking down the hallway, so it was just Purple and Zayne in the cell. Purple said to Zayne, "You are a beautiful supermodel." Zayne was still scared and desperately wanted a guard to walk past so someone could just open the cell door and he could run out of the cell, but nothing. No prison officers were around at all, and it was almost like all the guards purposely just disappeared. Purple told Zayne, "You have the top bunk, but for now let's talk and get to know each other, so come and sit on my bed." Purple went on his prison bed and laid down with a big smile on his face. Zayne, still scared and not wanting to upset Purple, he came over and sat on the end of the prison bed near Purple's feet. Purple started laughing and told Zayne to come closer, "Woman, come and lay down next to me in the bed," and he opened the cover for Zayne to come in. Zayne said, "Sir, I don't mean to be rude, but that sounds sort of gay," and got up off the bed. Zayne started to climb the bunk bed ladder to go onto his bunk bed, but that's when Purple shouted, "You will come and lay next to me, woman, because you don't want to see me angry." Still on the bunk bed ladder, Zayne said, "Please sir, I can't do this, I'm not gay." Purple said, "I'm not gay either," and that's when Purple got up off the bed, angry, huffing and puffing, and grabbed Zayne by his jumper while Zayne was still on the ladder and threw Zayne into the cell door. The throw was so fast Zayne felt like he broke the sound barrier as he flew through the air. Zayne could feel the wind as he flew through the air, hitting the cell door and falling on the floor. Zayne was really hurt and he felt like his ribs were broken from the sheer force of the throw. The sheer power of Purple was nothing Zayne had felt before, as he was used to just bossing around his parents. He was pretty much used to getting his own way and no one ever challenged him, so he always thought no one could do anything to him. desperate for help. Zayne shouts, "Help me! Someone please help me!" And that's when Purple ran over to him and slapped him in his face. The slap was so hard that Zayne felt like he was being hit in the face with a baseball bat. Zayne was in serious pain and could not take another slap, so he went silent. Purple then picked him up with one hand and threw him onto the bottom bunk bed and told Zayne to get into the covers. Scared for his life, Zayne did what Purple wanted. Zayne watched Purple as he got undressed in the middle of the cell and was shocked as he could see Purple's tings right in front of him, and it was huge and hard as a rock. Purple then went onto the bed and into the covers. While under the covers, Purple removed Zayne's clothes and put them on the floor. Scared for his life, Zayne just let him do it. Zayne was now laying on his side in the covers with his back towards Purple. Shocked and unable to move, he was praying Purple wouldn't turn him out. Zayne felt Purple's hand go around him as Purple pulled Zayne towards him. Purple's arms were huge and felt like weights as he cuddled Zayne. Zayne and Purple's bodies were now touching each other, and Zayne could feel Purple's tings touching his booty. Purple was trying to put it in, and that's when Zayne got some courage and asked Purple, "Can I go up to my bunk now as I am tired?" Purple replied, "You can go once I'm finished with you, woman." And that's when Purple got his tings and tried to slide it into Zayne's booty, and that's when Zayne said, "Please no sir." Purple slapped Zayne across his head again and Zayne went silent. The slap hurt more than the last one. It was like being hit with two baseball bats this time. Zayne was terrified of being turned out with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, so he just laid on his side praying Purple wouldn't turn him out. Purple still had his arms around Zayne so he couldn't escape, and that's when Purple pushed his tings inside of Zayne. Zayne started to scream, but Purple had a big smile on his face. Zayne begged Purple to stop, but Purple didn't listen and continued to clap Zayne's cheeks. He clapped Zayne's cheeks for 2 hours straight with no breaks, and when he finished he cream-pied Zayne. Purple kissed Zayne on his head and told him, "You are my new girlfriend," and 10 seconds later Purple fell asleep with his arm around Zayne. Zayne was really sore as his cheeks were all blown out, but he still managed to get out of the bed without waking up Purple. He made it up to the top bunk where he just laid on his bed in a ball, traumatized, staring outside into the greenery with sticky cream pie dripping out of him while tears fell from his eyes, thinking to himself, "What am I doing here? I shouldn't be here. I am from a good family." Zayne had to accept the fact that he had just been turned out in prison.